I have been asked to join the worship team at my church. I'm wrestling with some of the songs they sing, songs about being ransomed through the blood and the blood being applied, washing us white. Since most Christians hold the penal legal view, would I be misrepresenting God by leading the congregation in songs like these, or would this be an opportunity, being in the leadership role, to show God's true character? Maybe getting opportunity to share what the atonement actually means. So, for me, it has to really do with what you believe. First order question: the organization that wants you to sing and be part of the worship team, do you believe that organization, as an organization, is heading in the right direction? Are they seeking with righteous hearts to advance God? Remember, none of us know it all. We all have things to be corrected on. But is their orientation one that they love God and they're seeking to advance his kingdom? Or, for instance, a very simple example, if instead of a church inviting you to be part of their worship team, this was a Satan cult center asking you to be part of their worship team, you would say no, because that whole organization is moving the wrong direction. So first order question: do you believe the organization is moving in the right direction? And if so, then songs like this are part of the process we're all working out. And I wouldn't make too big a deal over the songs, but I would use those as opportunities to bring up discussion. Hey, we just had a song about the ransom being paid, or the atonement. What does that actually mean? And maybe bring that up into a class discussion afterwards to trigger concepts and what those songs actually mean. And I think it's a great opportunity to witness. Some people are attached to various ways to a lock of hair or a lost loved one, a splinter from the cross of Christ, clothes or bones from esteemed, revered dead people, even to the extent that some of these have some kind of special power. I feel the law of worship is involved somehow, or emotions could overrule reasoning, but how would you explain the reality of this topic? I won't ask you to raise your hands, but as you hear that, probably many of you don't really think that's ever been a problem for you, has it? You know, what are called relics in the Catholic Church, a little piece of bone or a piece of cloth that was over somebody's tomb, you probably haven't felt like you've been caught up in any of that, have you? No. No. Because in the Adventist Church, we don't do that. We get caught up in the same problem, applying magical or mystical powers to stuff when we do it to concepts. And how many of you sang the song, "There's Power in the Blood"? How many have heard sermons about being washed in the blood and cleansed by the blood and power in the blood and happy for the blood? Is there actually power in the blood?
No, power in Christ.
Or is the power in the one who shed his blood?
Right. Yes.
And the blood is a symbol of something else. And if we don't recognize the symbol, and Jesus said, "Unless you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you have no part with me," in John 6, he wasn't talking cannibalism, he was talking symbolism. And if we don't understand the symbols, then we can end up ascribing magical meaning. And I know many good Christians that go, "I'm saved by the blood. I've claimed the blood. I'm under the blood." And many of them are actually thinking literal blood, the blood of Jesus. That's hematolatry. And so this question is the same type of thing. It's people looking for substituting symbols that might have some benefit to remind us. Symbols can remind. Jesus gave us symbols of the bread and the wine to remember him by, and we've made a ceremony out of it. I'm not sure the New Testament at the Last Supper, Jesus is making a ceremony. That was actually a meal. Yes, it was part of the Passover, but it was an actual meal they were having. And I'm not convinced that Jesus was saying set up a ceremony. I'm often persuaded to think he was saying, every time you break bread and drink wine together, remember me. We do that when we say grace and ask a blessing on the food. I'm thinking he's saying, remember, I came and died for you. Salvation is found in me. All your blessings come from me. I don't think he was actually setting up a ceremony. How many people in the Adventist Church ascribe something mystical or magical to the little unleavened wafers and the little shot of grape juice? I don't know. I mean, I was raised in the church to feel that way because only people who are baptized could partake. Kids couldn't partake of it, and you had to actually burn it afterwards. If it wasn't used, you had to go burn it. You couldn't give that away to the homeless to feed them. Why?
It's magic.
Because that something changed in the nutritional substance of some kind. It's magic now. And so I think that this is a human thing. I think many people do it. I think that God calls us, and he uses symbols all through history. He uses them, and they can be used beneficially. They can also be used superstitiously to confuse and to obstruct truth. So I don't have a hard issue one way or the other. I call people to look past metaphors and symbols. They can still be beneficial if they're used, and it really calls us to understand the meaning and enlighten us to the reality to which they point. So that's how I would approach that.